life drama.
What do you mean by here we go. Have you ever seen a guy dangle a carrot? Hey Charlie, what do you mean by life drama, man?
I love how you turn this onto me. I'm
No,
going
that
to
was-
categorize this one by a few. I'm going to make the statement that if you've got a lot going on in your home life, so this is maybe with you and your immediate family, your partner, your kids, whatever it is, that would be one category. The second one would be like extended family. So maybe you have a very dramaful family. Or 3 is you've got like very dramaful friends. If all that's going on, or one or multiple or layers of them, I would make the argument that it is unlikely you will be making your best decisions in business or having things run well, because like all your energy and attention is going to be focused in that area of your life.
I'm curious, how do you approach someone? I want to unpack this a little bit. How do you approach someone who's like complaining to you or trying to like rile up a bit of drama? Like, how do you approach that?
It's actually been really difficult. I would hope that everyone has experienced. Actually, I wouldn't hope this. I've experienced this, and I think it's common, but I hope everyone doesn't have it. I think on the journey of business and life, we meet people, or perhaps share a bloodline with people that are just drama finds them, and when it doesn't exist, they create it.
Yep.
Right? There are dramaful people, and I would also say there are negative people that I would throw into this same category. So for some people, like you say something and they've always got a reason why it can't work, why it's wrong, why it's negative. You ask them something and they complain, right? These categories of people. And I think that part of the challenge as a business owner or being someone who's more positive is that you have to like limit exposure or eliminate.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you're going to give them a Tony Robbins CD and they're going to go, wow, and then not be a dramaful person? Like, do you actually think that that's – well, that's not my experience. I found the best tool and strategy is limitation and removal.
And avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on the receiving end of drama, and my immediate response is like nothing. I just go silent. And then they get more upset because I'm not asking more questions about it because I really want to explain it. And then I just like silent again. It's just like, because I'm just like, the only other thing outside of now I know that you're trying to drive drama to me is I'm just going to avoid this situation. So I'm just not going to be in this situation, and I'm not trying to convince you to be positive or not. I have a theory, and you've heard me talk about this theory recently around people with drama. I've gone on record to talk about in business, and this is how I get people to think about like team members and work with team members. I always think about a team member when they're at a family barbecue or a friend barbecue with their friends, right? And the question is always asked, right? Because it's always, how's work, right? So in personal life, it's like, well, how's the husband? How's the wife? How's the kids, right? So there's always a leading question. And now if that employee just says, it's okay, they will always get probed. Now they'll always want to tell a story, Charlie. And the story is always going to be one of two things. It's either going to be extremely positive or extremely negative, because no one wants to tell the story of how they went and got a coffee and nothing happened. It's either the coffee was really good or the coffee was really bad. And so it's either work is doing this great innovative stuff and it's fantastic, or it's like, oh my God, my coworkers suck, and it's like, rah, 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 right? And so the whole point is like, well, how do I give them things to say positively? Now, a lot of people that are listening to this, business owners. So I argue that business owners always have something positive going on, or at least they're trying to solve problems that they think is solvable. So most things that we come across, we say that is a mountain I can overcome, because that's what business owners do. We face it daily, whether it's wealth creation, business related, or personal, whatever. What happens a lot of the time for the dramatic people and the toxic people that I see and that I've witnessed, I have a theory, I haven't proven it, that the reason that they have and create drama is because there's nothing else going on for them. So for us, every time I catch up with business owners for dinner, all I talk about is the problems I'm trying to solve from a position of they are solvable. Yes, I'm going to talk to you about my problems and my challenges, but I present it as an idea of solvable. And the business owner will present the same concept back to me, but it's very creative. It's very building. It's like we are trying to get somewhere. For people who don't have anything, so they're not trying to play a sport, they're not trying to solve a business, they're not trying to do these things, when they have nothing positive to talk about because life is monotonous, kids are going to school, I'm at home or I'm working, there always has to be something negative, because that's the only thing they can go down, because they don't want to prop other people up. They don't want to say, my boss is amazing. Oh my gosh, my, I don't know, relative's amazing. Because no, it's not a powerful story. Powerful story is negative, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. And so what actually happens subconsciously, in my opinion, is when people don't have anything to say because they're not trying to construct a lot of things, they'll pull everybody else down. They'll throw shots at people. They'll talk about what other people are doing wrong because they're trying to prop themselves up to make themselves like, well, I've got something better. I'm trying to do something. And so I always try to avoid people in my direct network and friends and family, etc., that aren't doing something, aren't trying to progress somewhere. Why? Because never guess the stories are always negative, always bringing someone else down, or they're talking about some celebrity doing something which I couldn't give two shits about. And that is my view. Soapbox rant over.
I'll say maybe. I think you've made some interesting points there, right? So it's like there's something about people that are trying to make progression. It doesn't have to be business, but it's like people who are trying to do things generally seem to be more positively framed, I would say. And I would say that a lot of your points around people that don't have anything going on in life, like they tend to create drama. If your job is watching paint dry, the likelihood of you doing things in your personal life that create drama, I would say, is high as well.
Totally.
That's likely. Although, again, maybe someone who would take a job of watching paint dry might also do some pretty boring. Like I know some pretty vanilla accountants, right? They got some very boring things going on during the day. They do pretty boring things at night as well. But so I won't
have some good
categorize
stories though.
But how do you feel? I have observed though that it's like, do you not find like it's a rarity for someone to be a negative person then become a positive person? Like there's got to be some wiring and habit. Like I think some people just get so used to being negative and then that it just becomes what they do at every time.
You never guess what happens, Charlie. People try and congregate around others who are like-minded, which is why you get a whole group of people that are just super negative and they just feed off each other. Same way that business owners come together and they solve problems. Like they grow together. They improve on top of each other. And I'm using business owners as an example. You could do the same for sport and all those other things. They grow together. Oh, that's surprising.
I did love your point though about like remaining silent. I've made this mistake. I had a negative person in my life, and I'll give you the example. I was showing a video about these new AI fruit picking robots, about how they're being rolled out because you couldn't get fruit pickers in Australia.
Yep.
Dude, by the way, amazing. If you get 5 minutes, go and look at the robots that are being built to pick fruit. I couldn't believe it. Like drones that are getting berries and stuff. It's unreal. Like absolutely amazing. And anyway, a family member saw it and their context was, well, that's going to take jobs. But they found something negative about this. I'm like,
what? What are you doing?
Now, here's my mistake. I said, oh, can't you see that this is like those people that were picking fruit? Well, maybe they can chase their dreams now and build businesses and write books and create art, and they're not going to they don't have to do that. So what mistake did I make, Grant? I tried to ask someone to see the situation from a different point of view, and then that created drama. I literally got the can of petrol. There was a little fire, and I'm like, no, I can put this out.
Just most fires get put out with a little bit more gasoline, Charlie. You didn't know.
I would say most arguments and most drama is people trying to get people to see others' perspectives. So like you got a vegan and a carnivore, and they're trying to convince each other why their way is the way. Silence is the answer.
You're correct. Well, because they're both right. Like it's like, oh, okay. Although sometimes I'm a weird individual. Sometimes I'll feed into it. I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
I'll bet you were bored. I'll tell you right now, when you do that, that's you creating drama because there's something like business was too boring for you that week.
Totally. It's like, I need something and I'm like on the inside, I'm this little kid that's like pissing himself laughing, and they're getting all riled up and they're getting into it and they're like, yeah, Grant's on my team. And I'm like, like this master conductor. But no, like going back to that drama point, we've all had it though. I think drama and toxicity it's impossible to avoid it. Dude, every single marriage, I would 110% guarantee, have had an argument. You haven't taken the trash out, you haven't done something, you've done something incorrect, like you didn't pay a bill, or there's always going to be something that creates something. but it's how people approach it and how people avoid it and do it.
I'm going to tell you right now, Bianca and I have never had that happen. We've never disagreed on parenting and raising things with raising Jack at all. Never happened.
Stop. What? Because one person's submissive and the other person is like, this is what we're doing. Okay.
Do you know what's interesting? I'm picking up a common theme that I hadn't had this insight before, and I want to share it. Is like we're talking about like sickness and burnout, and then we've come into this like life drama point here. The point I want to make is like I'm recognizing that it's like the decisions we make, you can dial these up or dial them down. They're actually more within our control than we may realize.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people have that general awareness, or at least I don't.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into being a full stack business owner, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.